Welcome into another video in my series where we're testing every single weapon inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies to see just how viable these weapons are for you to use inside of your Modern Warfare 3 Zombies games. This is going to include the aftermarket conversion parts, the aftermarket conversion kits, as well as the MW2 weapons. So if you like to find out how weapons perform inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, then make sure you subscribe, turn on that bell notification so you don't miss any future uploads from myself on Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. As well, down below, my streams have been absent, but they are starting up next month, and I stream a ton of custom zombies and other zombie related games, and I would just be honored to have you guys come and hang out. Now today's video, if you've been following along with the series, is something I truly enjoy doing. It is another comment suggestion from you guys down in the comments. So today we're going to be taking a look at the LMG, the DG58, and we're going to be taking that through all three tiers, taking on bounties all the way through to see just how well this weapon performs for you inside of your Modern Warfare 3 Zombies games. So by the end of today's video, you will have a very good idea of just how well this weapon performs in all three tiers and inside of your Modern Warfare 3 Zombies games, and whether or not this weapon will be viable for you. So without further ado, let's get to the DG58 video today. Alright, so welcome in, and we're going to be checking out an LMG suggested from you guys down in the comments below, and it was quite debated on whether or not I should be using the aftermarket parts as suggested in the comments or not using the aftermarket conversion kit for this weapon. So what I've done for this build today is we have 4 out of 5 attachments are aftermarket parts, as that was the suggestion. So, as we do when we spawn in and do all these weapon testing videos, we put on all of our perks and no additions to the weapon aside from Deadshot, as I do run Deadshot every single match. And I am on PC, not on controller, just so you guys know if you're wondering why I'm not getting the ADS snap when using Deadshot, that's why. So, first thing we do is head off and find ourselves a bounty contract inside of Tier 1. And today, I tell you, that was a bit of a struggle to go ahead and find ourselves a bounty contract inside of Tier 1 to go ahead and test this DG58 with the aftermarket conversion kit and 3 other aftermarket parts as well. And of course, my luck today, not only was it a challenge to find the bounty contract, but the first bounty contract I found was inside of a mercenary stronghold. So we had to go visit the buy station, we had to pick up a mercenary stronghold key card, and then we had to go and unlock the mercenary stronghold in order to be able to grab our first bounty contract of the day. Alright, so we went and picked up our first bounty contract after a little bit of a detour there, I gotta say, and our first bounty of the day is a Mangler. And I was impressed. Like, I just put a quick little burst into his cannon just to see what kind of damage I could do, and it already turned off his cannon, which was amazing. And then in just like one magazine, I was almost completely finished this Mangler, which was really impressive. So I could tell right off the hop that this weapon was definitely going to be really, really strong. Now, sometimes these weapons perform really well early on, but they don't get much stronger as we go. So I was definitely interested and full of intrigue to see just how this weapon would perform as we went into the higher threat levels. So before we go and do that, I do want to go to the Pack-a-Punch machine. And in order to keep the camo on your weapon, if you guys are wondering, I've seen some people ask in the comments, make sure you melee the Pack-a-Punch machine first, wait for it to change color, I think it goes green, and then use the Pack-a-Punch machine or your PAP crystals, and you will not change the camo on your gun. So we went and grabbed our second bounty of the day, which was another Mangler inside of Tier 1, and this time we are Pack-a-Punched white rarity with no other additions to the weapon. And what a difference just taking this DG58 to Pack-a-Punch made for dealing with bounties inside of Tier 1. I was thoroughly impressed. Like, that Mangler did not stand much of a chance. So now I'm getting really excited to see what this thing can do as we, beef up the weapon, get it stronger and stronger moving into the higher tiers. So I was really excited. We've now got Legendary on it, we've got Napalm Burst on it, and we're Pack 1, and it's time to go grab our third bounty of the day inside of Tier 1 and see, is this DG58 going to do an instant delete on this Mimic bounty contract inside of Tier 1? And as expected, it did. So that is going to be, for me, already moving into Tier 2, understanding that this is going to be something viable for you guys to be using at Epic inside of Tier 1, Pack 1, or Blue inside of Tier 1, Pack 1, and you'll be able to handle bounty contracts, zombies, HVTs, not much of a problem at all. Now we're inside of Tier 2, and we are Pack 1 Legendary with Napalm Burst, and we got our Mangler contract here, and you can see just the damage. It was 2 magazines, under 2 magazines in Tier 2 at Pack 1 Legendary, and we were able to take down a bounty contract. So at this point, I'm feeling very confident in suggesting that you guys can run this Pack 1 Epic inside of Tier 2 and not have much of a struggle. I feel like if you brought in blue and your Pack 1 going into Tier 2 with this, that you might need to use a few rounds to take on a bounty contract, as the blue is just not going to have enough damage for you. But I definitely think that if you don't have Epic, you don't have Legendary, and you're only using blue and you want to run into Tier 2 with this, I feel like it's definitely something that you can do. Just be aware that you might be using a lot of rounds to take out some enemies for sure. So the next thing to do is take the DG58 off the Pack-a-Punch Tier 2, go put the Pack 2 level onto this weapon and see how it handles another Mangler inside of Tier 2, and holy smokes, at this point now I'm getting really excited to head into Tier 3 and find out what this thing can do. But I was a little bit low on cash for perks, so I wanted to take the opportunity to show you guys a nice trick to complete this specific bounty contract, or sorry, raid weapon stash contract inside of Tier 2. And this is what I do if I have a vehicle with me and I'm doing this raid weapon stash. I do this every single time, and it just makes things so easy. You come to this doorway, you can't drive through the doors, so you got to open them by running through them or opening them or whatever, and then just drive your vehicle into the doorway so that it's blocking the doorway. The zombies will no longer be able to come in that doorway. You can go over here and activate your raid weapon stash by putting the drill on the safe. And then when you come to where I'm at, you can see that vehicle has blocked the entire pathway, and all of the zombies will only come at you from one direction in front of you down this hallway. It makes for very easy work when completing this raid weapon stash, and it's something that I do 100% of the time if I have a vehicle or there is one nearby the raid weapon stash. So we went and completed that and got ourselves a nice schematic out of the deal, which I was going to try and hand off to a player today at the end of my match. So then it's off to Tier 3 and to put on my PAP3 crystal, which I bring in to my matches, and then to mark the Wonder Fizz machine so that we can head off into Tier 3 and grab the rest of the perks that we are missing today, which was quite a few, as I had a few extras to bring along with it, as we're going to be testing this weapon later in the video with Mags of Holding as well to see how it performs. So the next thing to do is go off, grab our perks, which we did, and see what can this DG58 do inside of Tier 3, handling what Tier 3 has to offer. And I have to say, for zombies and just basic crowd control inside of Tier 3, when you're not completely overrun, I mean, you can see on screen right there, the carnage is real. It's definitely something that is viable for sure. So next, as contracts were hard to come by inside of Tier 3 this morning, I had to go off and visit our good nemesis, George, the Guardian of the Arches. And I tell you, George was ready today. He has been, I think he's subscribed. We've discussed this a bit recently, but I feel like George has been watching my videos, and he knows where the cheese spots are. Either way, I'm still able to manipulate George by using the cheese spots, get him to come close to me to where I'd like him to be for sure. And you can see the critical damage that the DG58 is able to do to a Mega Abomination inside of Tier 3 is definitely strong. It's definitely remarkable. I mean, you can see the health bar in the Mimic, the chunks of health come off as we're shooting him with the DG58. Same thing can be said for George. He wasn't cooperating, so I needed to come down floor because George was just not really ready or eager to fire up his laser attacks. I think he knows what's coming anyway, but we've almost finished off George here already, and I've barely even fired any shots into George at all. We finished him off here with the energy mine going off. I'm not sure if it was me shooting or the energy mine that finished off George right there, but definitely finished off George. Nothing too special, just the cash and the large backpack. So the next thing to do was to try and grab a bounty contract for us and see if we can get a Mega Abomination bounty contract to test out the DG58 with the aftermarket conversion kit and the aftermarket parts I have equipped on it. Sadly, we got a Disciple though. So here we are inside of Tier 3 dealing with the Disciple bounty contract, and I wanted to show you guys this entire Disciple fight to show you just how viable the DG58 for you is to use inside of Tier 3. When you're fighting Disciples, you know they make the zombies around them stronger, they summon in more zombies, and it's just a constant annoyance to have just so much riffraff around while you're trying to deal with a bounty contract. You know my thoughts and my feelings on Disciples, but I do feel like Disciple bounty contracts inside of Tier 3 are an excellent way to showcase the weapon's strength for you guys to see how it handles inside of Tier 3. If you go in here and you've got your Disciple contract and you've got all the zombies that are beefed up from the Disciple, he's trying to re-heal off of you and everything that comes with trying to deal with a Disciple contract. I feel like it's an awesome opportunity to show you guys just how viable weapons can be inside of Tier 3. And you can see just on screen as I'm handling all the traffic and the riffraff that's coming along while I'm dealing with this Disciple contract. And right here, you're going to find out why I hate Disciple contracts. I don't understand where this Disciple went. Like, he went down through the floor. Like, why? Where? Why are you down there? So now I have to try and find him because I didn't know where he was. So I jumped down to try and find the Disciple. Here he is, and he's got a dog. He's trying to re-heal off me. I cracked the healing. Then I went to reload and fire, and he went through the wall again. Now he's back up top, so I had to come back around and run back up. This is why Disciples are so annoying. But there was a team in the area, and so they finished off the last little bit of health off that Disciple for me, which was nice. So we got ourselves our reward there without having to finish off the Disciple, which was pretty decent. We got a sigil out of that. Now, I was still determined to grab a bounty contract and be able to complete a bounty contract on my own without another team coming to help out, because I wanted to show you guys how this DG58 performs with the aftermarket parts and the aftermarket conversion kit I'm using on today's build. Stay tuned as I do show the build later in the video, so we'll work together in the comments to come up with an awesome build for us all to use for the DG58. But we picked up our bounty contract here, which was a mimic inside of Tier 3. And you can see the health damage and the crowd control with the DG58 inside of Tier 3. This was an awesome one to show you guys, as there was just so much riffraff around while I was dealing with the mimic. He kept grabbing me and throwing me. We had a Disciple join in the party, tried to third-party us, as Disciples always do. I don't know what it is with that. But you can see here the health and the critical shots that are happening with the DG58 is truly awesome to see when you're able to hit them on your bounty contracts instead of Tier 3. Like, I didn't really feel, worried trying to handle this contract inside of Tier 3. I didn't feel like I was going to be overrun. I definitely felt like I had enough damage from this weapon to go ahead and complete my contract. Again, another team showed up and finished off my bounty contract for me. It really was almost finished, that mimic, for sure. So at this point, it was time to try and grab another bounty contract. But at this point, I felt like I'd showcased enough of the weapon without mags of holding that it was time to go ahead and throw on mags of holding and see what the DG58 can do in Tier 3, handling a bounty contract now that we have mags of holding on and we don't need to reload, which was a bit of an issue as the aftermarket conversion kit puts your magazine size to 40, so Pack-a-Punch you only have 80 rounds. So we got another cheese spot here, and our Mega Abomination bounty contract was standing and behaving very well, I must say. I was very pleased with his performance today. So, but you can see just how strong this DG58 is for critical damage on a Mega Abomination bounty contract inside of Tier 3. This entire fight, the damaging of the Mega Abomination, actually shooting him, took less than 30 seconds. The only waiting, and the reason the fight took a little bit longer was because I kept waiting patiently for him to fire up his laser attack. Now, if he had been constantly firing up the laser attack, I feel like I would have been able to finish this Mega Abomination bounty contract off in less than 30 seconds for sure. So that's definitely awesome to see, and this is definitely something that's going to be viable for you guys to use inside of your Modern Warfare 3 Zombies games, which I truly love. And you guys know, if you've been following along on the channel, that I'm all about using a ton of different weapons inside of my Modern Warfare 3 Zombies games. I really do not like being stuck to just one or two guns that are going to be viable for us to use. And I think that Modern Warfare 3 Zombies has done an amazing job of having a lot of balanced weapons that are viable to use inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies that we can use to have some variety in our games and just, keep it fresh while we continue to play. Now, I gotta say, this crowd control here, this is what I wanted to showcase you guys. We've got mags of holding on the DG58, and if you know Tier 3, this is a very busy area. There's usually a Mega Abomination that spawns by the bridge. There's all kinds of HVTs here. There just seems to be an endless amount of zombies that spawn. And you can see with the DG58, I mean, at range, we were able to handle a Disciple and two Manglers inside of Tier 3 without much issue at all. All the riffraff that was coming at me, the crowd control, I was able to take out. There's one Mangler done. Here's another Mangler in Tier 3. Just getting eviscerated by this DG58. Now, we do have mags of holding, and when you get mags of holding, you have 1,040 rounds in your magazine, which is absolutely amazing. Now, I wanted to take on George, the Guardian of the Arches, again, because I had Magda holding and I didn't really feel like I needed to go to a cheese spot. I felt like I could just take him on. This is how confident I was feeling running the DG58 with the aftermarket conversion kit and the parts I had today. Like, even there, my health went down to almost nothing. I was not worried about really anything too much, to be honest. We've finished off George and the Guardian of the Galaxy right there. Guardian of the Arches, sorry. And then I wanted to show you guys just a standard tier 3 disciple inside of tier 3, and lo and behold, the storm came. I had no idea that's how close we were to the end of the match. So it was time to get off to an exfil and get the heck out of Dodge, as I'm not wanting to lose my exfil streak or any of my perks or containment levels. So as I do at the end of every video, this is the weapon build I used for today's run with the Jack Nightshade rifle aftermarket conversion kit and the other aftermarket parts. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any changes that you would make to the weapon build so we can have an awesome one to run in our Zombies games. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.